Hi, welcome to Ballet Flowers. My name is Suzanne. I've been potting since 2000 and I just love pottery and flowers. But today we're going to focus on pottery and we'll do a little cylinder. So I'm going to slap the clay down and center the clay. And I'm going to cone up and cone down. The clay is nice and slippery because I have water next to me. And I can just add more water as I need to. So I'm coning up and coning down, releasing those air gaps, and then I gradually pull my hands away from me slowly, and it's nice and centered. So I'm going to form a hole in the center, and this is a cylinder that we're going to make. So I'm going to pull my thumbs all the way down, push my thumbs all the way down, and then pull out the clay just slightly. I find I can really keep an eye on how thick the thickness is as I go up on the sides. So you try to keep it as even as possible, and when I do a pull, my hands are about equal distance away from each other. My elbows are locked in, and I make connection with my hands. So I'm just gonna do a cylinder and I'm just going straight up. And actually I'm pulling in a little bit rather than flaring it out. And if I feel like it goes out too far, then I can always adjust, and I'll show you that on the next pull. So I'll pull up, compress the rim, and I'm just going to take my hands and pull in a little bit so my cylinder stays more straight up. And with a cylinder, you can create a vase, a mug, anything tall, pencil holder, toothbrush holder. Maybe even for utensils next to the stove. So I'm pulling that in a bit to keep it nice and straight, but generally when you pull, you just have to make sure that you pull in toward the center just slightly, and then compress the rim, and you have a cylinder. You can see how it flared out a bit, so if I want it a little bit more straight on the edges, I can take my straight tool and my metal scraper, and I can just go up slightly with that and use that as instead of my fingers. And you can see it's more cylinder shaped because I was able to have a nice straight edge rather than the rounded part of my fingers. So I will compress the edge again. I like to flare out the edge just slightly. It just gives a nice look. Sometimes I'll make a little ridge in there, make some designs. And trim the bottom. Any extra clay you can take off. But you can also make designs when you're doing the trimming for it depends on the temperature of your studio, but sometimes it's a week if in colder weather, and sometimes it's just a couple days that you can start trimming your newly thrown piece. So this is my cylinder and I'm all set. If I wanted to refine any of the edges, I can take my sponge and just clean up some of that, but I can also trim. When I'm trimming, I can make it a little bit more clean too. And just take my cutter and voila, I have a finished cylinder that I can use as a pencil holder, a toothbrush holder, anything you want, a holder, or maybe I just want to use it as a cup. So I love to start out with these because it gives me a chance to warm up as I start potting. And everybody needs that little warm up as they start. And having a little bit of warm water too, that keeps your hands warm. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope you can join us again next time. Have a great day.